Jesus taught us to refuse greed, fear, revenge, hypocrisy, unforgiveness, and more. Not because he wanted people to live in fear, but because these things slowly take control of the heart. This is not about refusing people. Jesus welcomed people others rejected. It is about refusing the things that can quietly steal your peace, damage your relationships, and pull you away from God. These are 10 clear teachings of Jesus, with the passages they come from, and what they can mean in real life. Let's begin with one of the warnings Jesus gave most directly.
Refuse greed. Luke 12 verse 15. Jesus said, "Be on your guard against all greed." He explained that life does not consist in the abundance of possessions. Money can help us. It can feed a family, solve real problems, and give us security. Jesus was not saying that owning things is wrong. The warning is deeper. Do not let possessions become the measure of your life, your worth, or your peace. Greed is never fully satisfied. It says, "Just a little more, then I will be happy." But there's always another thing to want, another person to compare yourself with, another reason to feel you do not have enough. Jesus calls us to be grateful, generous, and free. Refuse the voice that tells you your life is worth only what you own. Refuse anxious worry. Matthew 6 verses 25 to 34. Jesus said not to worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow will worry about itself. That does not mean Jesus told us never to plan, never to wake, or never to care about problems. Planning is wise. Responsibility matters. But worry is different. Worry is when the future begins to rule your present. Many of us live through situations in our minds that have not even happened yet. We replay fears, imagine losses, and carry tomorrow's weight before tomorrow arrives. Jesus points to the birds and the flowers, not to say life will always be easy, but to remind us that we are not forgotten by God. You can take the next right step today without carrying every possible disaster at once. Refuse unforgiveness. Matthew 18 verses 21 to 35. Peter asked Jesus how many times he should forgive someone. Jesus answered with a number so large that the point was clear. Forgiveness is not meant to be measured with calculator. Forgiveness does not call evil good. It does not mean pretending that nothing happened. And it does not mean you must remain close to someone unsafe or abusive. Boundaries can be necessary. Justice can matter. But unforgiveness can become its own prison. When someone has hurt us, we may keep reliving what they did, letting their wrong continue to shape our heart long after the moment has passed. Jesus teaches us to release vengeance into God's hands. Forgiveness is not always a feeling that appears instantly. Sometimes it is a decision we must return to again and again. Refuse to let another person sin become a chain around your own heart. Refuse hypocrisy. Matthew 6 verse 1. Matthew 23 verses 27 to 28. Jesus gave some of his strongest warnings against hypocrisy, looking righteous on the outside while refusing to deal honestly with what is inside. He spoke about people who gave, prayed, or did good only so that others would notice them. The problem was not prayer. The problem was performing faith for applause. We can do the same thing today. We can appear kind while holding resentment. We can speak about truth while being dishonest in private. We can want people to admire the image of us more than we want to become better people. Jesus does not ask for a perfect performance. He asks for truth. A sincere person who struggles and returns to God is closer to him than someone who looks holy but refuses honesty. Refuse the mask. Choose a real heart. Refuse judging others while ignoring yourself. Matthew 7 verses 1 to 5. Jesus used one of his most memorable images, a person trying to remove a tiny speck from someone else's eye while carrying a plank in their own. He was not saying that wisdom and discernment are wrong. We are still called to recognize truth, protect people, and make good decisions. But Jesus warns against proud judgment, the habit of inspecting everyone else's failures while excusing our own. It is easy to see another person's impatience, pride, weakness, or mistake. It is much harder to ask, what am I missing about myself? Before speaking against someone else, pause, examine your motives. Are you trying to help, or are you trying to feel above them? Refuse the pride that judges quickly. Choose humility first. Refuse revenge. Matthew 5 verses 38 to 44. Jesus taught his followers not to answer evil with more evil. He even said to love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. This is one of the hardest teachings of Jesus because revenge feels natural. When we are hurt, we want the other person to feel what we felt. We want to strike back with words, humiliation, anger, or silence. But revenge multiplies pain. One insult becomes another. One wound becomes a deeper wound. Families, friendships, and entire communities can remain trapped in that cycle for years. Jesus offers another way. Love does not mean becoming weak. It means refusing to let hate decide who you become. Refuse revenge. Break the cycle before it becomes your identity. Refuse serving money as your master. Matthew 6 verse 24. Jesus said that no one can serve two masters. Then he made it plain. You cannot serve both God and money. Again, money itself is not the enemy. We need it. We work for it. We use it to care for people. The question is, who is serving whom? If money controls every decision, every relationship, every fear, and every dream, then it has become more than a tool. It has become a master. Jesus asks us to place God first because everything else is safer in its proper place. Work matters. Providing matters. But your soul is not for sale, and your value cannot be counted in a bank account. Refuse to bow to money. Let it be a tool in your hands, not a chain around your heart. Refuse fear that controls your faith. Matthew 10 verses 28 to 31. John 14 verse 27. Jesus repeatedly told his followers not to be afraid. He did not deny that danger, loss, and suffering exist. He spoke those words in a world that could be frightening. But fear becomes destructive when it becomes our master. It can make us hide from life, stay silent when we should speak, or believe that darkness is stronger than God. Jesus said that even the sparrows are known by God, and that his followers are worth more than many sparrows. That does not promise a life without pain. It promises that you are seen. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is taking the next faithful step, while fear is still trying to stop you. Refuse fear's control. Walk forward with God, even if the next step is small. Refuse causing others to stumble. Matthew 18 verses 6 to 7. Jesus gave a serious warning about harming the vulnerable and causing others to stumble. Our choices never affect only us. The way we speak, the things we normalize, the advice we give, and the example we set can either help another person stand or make their path harder. This matters especially when someone is younger, weaker, confused, grieving, or looking to us for guidance. A careless joke, a cruel word, a selfish action, or a bad influence can leave a mark we never intended. Jesus calls us to become people who protect rather than damage, who guide rather than push, and who make the path safer for others. Refuse carelessness with another person's heart. Use your influence to bring people closer to truth, peace, and life. Refuse the wide road that leads away from life. Matthew 7 verses 13 to 14. Jesus spoke about two roads, a wide road that many people choose, and a narrow road that leads to life. The wide road is not always obviously evil. Often, it is simply the easier road. It is following the crowd without asking where the crowd is going. It is choosing what feels good now without thinking about what it creates later. The narrow road is not about becoming proud or thinking you are better than everyone else. It is a road of truth, repentance, mercy, courage, self-control, and faithfulness. Sometimes it is harder because it asks us to say no to what is popular. Jesus does not force us down that road. He invites us. Refuse to let popularity decide your direction. Choose the road that leads to life. So what is the conclusion? Jesus did not teach these things to crush people with rules. He taught them because he knows what destroys peace from the inside. Refuse greed and choose gratitude. Refuse anxious worry and choose trust. Refuse unforgiveness and choose freedom. Refuse hypocrisy and choose truth. Refuse revenge and choose mercy. None of us does this perfectly, but every day we can choose again which voice we will follow. Which one of these teachings speaks to you most today? Leave it in the comments. And if you want more videos about the teachings, words, and language of Jesus, subscribe.